Most people get measles once, catch it, survive it, and it's very unlikely you will ever get it again. Your body has learned to recognize it. But the common cold, you catch it again and again, every year. Same idea of a virus, completely different outcome. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why. Because you'll understand the specific immune response. How your phagocytes, your B lymphocytes, and your T lymphocytes work together as one coordinated. It's not a list of cells to memorize. It is one connected story. And at the end of this video, an exam-style question to test it. Let's get started. It all starts with recognition. White blood cells recognize pathogens by the large number of molecules on their surfaces. Proteins, glycoproteins, glycolipids, and polysaccharides. Any molecule the body recognizes as foreign is an antigen. Your immune system tells the difference between self and non-self. Your own cell surface molecules are self. They don't trigger a response. A pathogen's molecules are non-self, and those do. Blood groups show this. If type A blood is given to a type B person, the recipient's immune system recognizes the A antigens as non-self and produces antibodies against them. That's self versus non-self deciding the outcome of a blood transfusion. And the response of lymphocytes to a foreign antigen, that's the immune response itself. Sometimes producing antibodies, sometimes killing infected cells. All immune cells come from stem cells in the bone marrow, and they fall into two groups. Phagocytes, neutrophils and macrophages are scavengers that engulf pathogens, while lymphocytes, B and T cells, give the specific response and the memory. The connection between them is the key to this whole topic, and we'll see it clearly in a moment. Two phagocytes with different roles. Neutrophils form about 60% of white blood cells, and they're short-lived, released in large numbers during infection, and squeeze out of capillaries into the tissues to reach pathogens. Macrophages are larger and long-lived. They travel in the blood as monocytes, then settle in organs such as liver, lungs, spleen, kidney, lymph nodes, and they have a crucial extra role you reach in a second. Here is how a phagocyte destroys a pathogen. Phagocytosis. Infected cells release chemicals such as histamine. With chemicals from pathogens, they attract neutrophils. Movement towards a chemical is called chemotaxis. The pathogens are often clustered and coated in antibodies. Neutrophils have receptor proteins, as you can see here, that recognize and attach to those antibodies. Note this for the moment, as it will link back later. The cell surface membrane engulfs the pathogen by a process called endocytosis, trapping it inside a phagocytic vacuole, also called phagosome. Lysosomes fuse with this vacuole, releasing enzymes that break down the pathogen down, as you can see here. When lysosomes fuse with the phagocytic vacuole or phagosome, they will form together what we call phagolysosome. Now the macrophage's crucial role here, you pay attention please, it does not destroy the pathogen completely, unlike neutrophils. It cuts it up and displays the antigens on its own surface so lymphocytes can recognize them later. This is called antigen presentation. The display is the bridge from the general phagocytes to the specific lymphocytes, or between the non-specific immune response and the specific immune response. Everything next depends on this. Two types of lymphocytes, both made from stem cells in the bone marrow. A memory hook here, which can be useful. B matures in the bone marrow and T matures in the thymus. As T cells mature in the thymus, each produces a specific T receptor, similar in structure to an antibody, specific to one particular antigen. And this is what specific means. A huge number of different lymphocytes form. Each recognizes one particular antigen before any pathogen arrives. So one invades, only the cells with complementary receptors respond. We call that clonal selection. The antigen selects the cells that already fit it. Then they divide by mitosis to increase their number. This process is called clonal expansion. Here you should be careful. The matching cell already existed. Okay? The antigen doesn't create it, it selects it. T cells are activated when they recognize their antigen presented on the surface of another host cell. For example, that macrophage displaying the antigen, or a body cell infected by a pathogen and displaying it as a kind of help signal. There are two main types. T helper cells, when activated, they release cytokines, which are cell signaling molecules. Those cytokines coordinate the response. They stimulate the right B cells to divide, develop into plasma cells and secrete antibodies. They stimulate T killer cells to divide, and some stimulate macrophages to carry out phagocytosis more vigorously. The T helper even signals back to the phagocytes, making them working harder and harder. The system loops together. That's why the course book defines the T helper cell as the one that coordinates the immune response. T killer cells, also called cytotoxic T cells. They search the body for cells invaded by pathogens that are displaying foreign antigens on their surface. The T killer recognizes those antigens, attaches to the infected cell, and secretes toxic substances such as hydrogen peroxide, killing the body cell and the pathogens inside. T helper coordinates, the T killer kills. Don't swap their jobs. And importantly, as you can see, memory T helper and memory T killer cells are also produced and ready to act quickly in the secondary response. Now the B cell branch, stimulated by the T helper's cytokines. The selected B cell divides by mitosis. This is called, if you remember, clonal expansion. And its daughter cells develop into two types. Plasma cells secrete antibodies, which are glycoproteins that specifically combine with the antigen that entered the body. They are the antibody factories. On the other hand, memory B cells remain circulating in the body for a long time. Hold them, they are the answer to our opening question. Now, what antibodies actually do? They fight the pathogen. This is wrong. Don't answer in this way in your exam. You earn no marks. An antibody's variable region has a shape complementary to one specific antigen. That's why it's specific to one pathogen. Remember the antibody's functions as shown in your course book. I'll just outline three of them. Mainly, neutralization, agglutination, and labeling for phagocytosis. Neutralization, antibodies combine with toxins, neutralizing them. These antibodies are called antitoxins. Example, against diphtheria and tetanus. Agglutination, they cause pathogens to clump together, making them easier to remove and engulf. Labeling for phagocytosis, antibodies call the antigen, and phagocytes recognize the antibodies and engulf them. You should know how phagocytes recognize the antibodies. Do you remember the antibody-coated pathogens the neutrophil recognized at the start? This is where the antibodies come from. The specific immune response makes phagocytosis more effective. And the story looks short. Now the payoff, the immunological memory. The primary immune response, the first time an antigen invades, is slow. Because at this stage, there are very few B cells specific to it. Few antibodies are made, and you may become ill. But memory cells remain. And if the same antigen returns weeks, months, years later, Those memory cells divide rapidly to develop into plasma cells. The secondary immune response faster and producing far more antibodies almost immediately. The pathogen is destroyed before symptoms develop. Here is our opening answer. Memory cells last many years and often a lifetime, which is why it's very unlikely to catch measles twice. There is one strain of measles virus, so each time it infects you, there is a fast secondary response. The common cold and influenza have many different changing strains, each with different antigens. So each new strain needs a fresh primary immune response before you are immune, and during that time, you can fall ill. The whole specific response starts to finish. Pathogen, antigen, macrophage presenting it, T helper releasing cytokines and coordinates, T killer cells destroy infected body cells, B cells divide into plasma cells and memory cells, plasma cells secrete antibodies, memory cells remain for a fast secondary response. One antigen, one coordinated system. That's the specific immune response. If you can say this whole chain in your words without notes, you understand it. Pause and try now. Six marks. Command word describe a clear sequence of precise statements. Pause and write yours, then come and check mine. The antigen presented by the macrophage activates a T helper cell with a complementary receptor. The T helper cell releases cytokines. Cytokines stimulate a specific B cell with a complementary receptor, clonal selection. The B cell divides by mitosis, clonal expansion. Some daughter cells develop into plasma cells. Plasma cells secrete antibodies that specifically combine with the antigen. Every mark is a precise action, and note, the T helper does not make antibodies, it coordinates. The plasma cells makes them and secretes them. Keep the jobs distinct. The specific immune response is one connected system. Phagocytes raise the alarm and present the antigen. T helper cells coordinate. T killer cells kill the infected cells. B cells build the antibodies. Memory cells give long-lasting immunity, often, though not always, for life. Understand it as a connected story, and the marks will follow. Save this for revision and write the full sequence from memory tonight.